In this video I'm going to show you how to make this really simple storage box. Now this one's made from 2 canvases, and I've folded the top over to give it a little bit of rigidity around the top and decorated with lace, as you can see. The fleece I've used on the inside is a Valaiseline sew-in fleece. You could use a fusible H640 or something like that if you wish. And it's best for the lining to have a non-directional fabric, because as you can see the fabric comes over the top and folds over, so if you have a directional fabric, one of those is going to be upside down. Now once you know the technique, which is ever so easy, then you can make these in different sizes as well. I wouldn't go too much larger than the size that we have here, because it could get a little bit floppy if you're putting lots of things inside there. But you could make it squarer, you could make it a little bit wider, and you could make it taller if you wish as well. Now although I've made this one in canvas, this one I've made in cotton, so this is from my chickens panel, and the lining here is directional, so I've had it upside down on the inside so that when it folds over it's the right way around on this side. And as you can see, I'm going to keep my ribbons and my bits and bobs in this one. With this one I could store maybe some fat quarters or sewing patterns in there, or of course it doesn't have to be for sewing. You could use this, you could put maybe 3 fake plants in there, or fill it with some silk flowers. Would look lovely on maybe on a windowsill. So I'll leave all of the details and the cutting sizes for the size that I'm making here in the description box below. So go gather your fabrics and let's get sewing. So my 2 side pieces measure 12 inches across this way and 8 inches deep, 2 of those. Then I've got 2 side pieces, and these measure 8 inches by 4.5 inches. And my base is 12 inches by 4.5 inches. And on the wrong side of all of these outer pieces I've just fused some, this is a sew-in polyester wadding, and I've fused it with 505 spray. You could use a fusible fleece if you wish, or even a foam, but that may be a bit thick when you turn the top over. So I think that's kind of the perfect thickness for this. So anything, any kind of polyester wadding I think would work really well. Then we'll need to cut the same size of pieces from the lining, but this time we don't have any polyester on the backing. So there again we've got the 2 side pieces, there's my base, and the 2 end pieces. So let's start sewing them together. First of all, I'm going to sew all of these pieces together like so, and then wrap them over, so that's going to make a tube shape. And then we'll put in the base. So just make sure that your fabric is the right way around. If you've got a directional fabric, this is going to go in the bottom. So I'm just going to fold the larger sections in half and just put a little mark at the center point. And then the same again on this side, and mark the center, and then we'll do the same with the base, on both sides. And matching these points and right sides together, I'm just going to pop a few clips in here. Same on the opposite side. And then we'll sew all the way around. So we need to make sure that on the corner pieces it looks as though the base is overlapping the seam by a little bit, but should be 1/4 of an inch. That's your seam allowance. So that's nice and even all the way around. like so, and then we'll sew all the way around the base. And let's turn this the right side out. Then take your lining pieces and we're going to sew these together in the same way, but this time leave a turning gap in the bottom of around about 3 or 4 inches. Now, to help the lining sit inside the bag a little better, I've increased the seam allowance very slightly and tapered it from the top very slightly down to the bottom. Then we're going to push the outer inside the lining, match up the seams, so I'll pop a few clips in there, like so. Open that one, in you go. It does seem a little bulky in there because the outer's got the wadding on it, so it is in fact very slightly larger than the lining. Push that in there. Oh, open up. There we go. And then sew all the way around the top. So now let's turn the whole thing through the turning gap to the right side. And just make sure, there you go, the seams are nice and neat. At this point you can always go back over and re-sew any of the sections if you need to, and then pull the sides of the gap away from each other so that the seam allowance folds in, and then just sew across the edge, and then push the lining inside the outer. And we'll give this a quick iron. So with the seam right on the edge, I'll give that a good old press. Do the inside as well while we're there. And then we're going to top stitch around the edge. I'm just going to use a little bit of best press just to keep that the seam nice and crisp, and I'm also going to spray along the seams because we're going to iron those and try and make them square in just a second. So that just helps to keep it. You don't have to do that. You could use a spray starch if you have any, or just plenty of steam on your iron. That's better. That's holding the crease really well. Okay, and then where the seams are, I'm just going to pinch the seam and iron across there, and that's going to help to keep the box square. And we do that on all of the seams. Okay, then top stitch all the way around the top. Now we're going to fold over the top by about 2 inches. I'm not going to top stitch around there. I am going to press it again. And this is going to, you know, it looks nice. It looks nice when it's folded over like that, but it also helps to make the top of the bag a little bit sturdy. The box, sorry, makes it a little bit more sturdy because the fabric's so much thicker around there. So good old press, plenty of steam if you've got it. And I think I'm just going to pinch those corners again and give them another press. That's better. So the final thing I'm going to do is to just add a piece of lace around the top like so. And I'm not going to sew this, I'm going to glue it because I don't want to see the stitches on here. And this is something that will probably not go in the wash, so I don't have an issue with gluing that at all. So I'm just going to dribble a little glue right around the edge and then wrap the lace around there. And then what I'm also going to do is just put a little bit of glue just underneath here to hold that down. If you want to ever use this as a larger box and, you know, fold that up, then obviously don't glue or stitch that down, so you can fold it back up again if you want to, but I won't be for this one. So I'm just going to pop just a little bit of glue right in the center. And there's my little box finished and all ready to fill.